This podcast is meant for general health information and is not meant to override any medical advice. All questions will be screened and not contain any personal information. If you want a private consultation, contact us via positivechoice.org or you can contact your provider directly. Thank you and enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome to the Positive Choice Wellness Podcast. My name is Anneliese. I'm an exercise physiologist and nutritionist.
And my name is Melanie. I'm also an exercise physiologist and nutritionist.
And we are joined by our very special guest today, Kari McCloskey.
Hello.
Hello,
Hi.
welcome. So good to see you, Kari.
It's great to see you guys too.
We're so far away from each other all the time, and now we're in the same room, but far away from each other in real life. I love this.
It's been a long quarantine.
It has been.
Yes. So before we get too much into it, Kari is our very own in-house registered dietitian. She is the one that we go to for all things nutrition here.
Yep.
And she is also a certified personal trainer, and she's been with us teaching all kinds of classes, doing one-on-ones for how long, Kari?
A long time.
We'll just leave it at that. She's Positive Choice royalty.
Oh, wow. That's quite a crown. I appreciate that, but I think I just got lucky because when I was in college, I started off in business and I kept reading nutrition books on the side because I had worked at a job that I was supposed to teach people how to do all this stuff, and I didn't know any of the vernacular, and so I was reading, and then I went back to college. That was a summer job, so when I got back into college and it was learning all these other things in business, I'm kept reading on the side all these other things, and I'm just going to major in something I enjoy. So I did, and then I actually landed in a Kaiser job right from an internship.
Hey, me
and
too.
like you,
Yay.
Melanie. Yeah. And it's just been a really good fit for me ever since. So I'm going on my third decade with Kaiser, and I'll have to say it's been quite a fun ride.
Good. Well, of course. I mean, third decade, it must be a good place to work.
It is.
Yeah.
They're good to us here.
And we get to do a podcast.
Right.
Yeah, this is super cool. I have no problem with this.
Wonderful.
Well, Kari, so we're going to talk about what healthy at home means today. And one reason why I think we all wanted to do this topic was because the quarantine's been going on a long time, and all three of us teach classes where we've been trying to help people wade through how do we maintain some of our healthy behaviors while our whole schedule has changed, our whole life has been uprooted, and we're coming up on our year anniversary of this.
Oh,
and
boy.
I know. And I think that we have a better grasp of how to navigate these waters,
Right.
I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. And however, like you guys, we talk to a lot of patients during the day, and they, this being ordered to be at home, they've gotten into their groove, a new groove. However, they're still struggling. There's, and we're all struggling. We've all been sent home to work, and when we're talking to our patients, it's through the computer, right? So we're not even open yet for in-person. A few things are, but mostly we're not. And so, like you were saying, Melanie, we're a year into this, and there is hope. There is a vaccination out now that is going to, and with herd immunity, the combination of those two, I think we're still looking, though, to maybe several more months before we can just safely start really opening as a society. And this pandemic has affected people worldwide, and what we're seeing as the toll it's having, not necessarily as much on physical health as mental health. So, and that all plays into anyone's ability to eat right, to move around. So, if they just don't feel like it, it's not going to happen. So, I think it's a great discussion to talk about today, and talk about maybe some tips and things that we offer to our patients that would help them. And then when we see that progress and that movement outside of what they're doing, and how wonderful it feels for them, it's joy for us. At least it is for me. I mean, that's why I keep doing what I do, because I love to help get a person into a healthier body, but the healthier frame of mind too.
Right, because they both go together.
Exactly.
And I thought you made a really good point earlier when we were, talking pre-show, was that our lives being at home, the isolation, it mirrors natural depressive tendencies. And how are you seeing that play out in your life, in your patients' lives, your feedback that you're getting?
I think what we are seeing is that when, if someone already was struggling with depression or anxiety, and then they're forced to stay at home, that can amplify those sort of feelings and behaviors. And I think from this pandemic, the biggest toll on mental health has been the social distancing, more so than anything, because we are social creatures and we want to be together. And then when it's forced not to be together, then the struggles then can intensify. And so and those who are trying to obey those orders are then it, with the depression, it can just cycle people farther and farther. And then unfortunately we turn on news and right, and I just call it the bad news, right? Because that's just going to take a toll too. And so this whole perpetual negativity has really been impacting people and how they're feeling about themselves, how they're feeling about life in general. And so it can have some really fatal outcomes. Unfortunately, I've seen it with some of my friends, and it can get really, really ugly. So, like I said, I think it's a good time to just say, hey, we're on this playing field, but guess what? We're going to be coming into the home run pretty soon. And so we let's stretch out this last several months and figure out what we can do if we find ourselves in those down situations, how to booster ourselves up.
I think another stat worth mentioning too is that alcohol use has skyrocketed during the pandemic.
Oh yeah,
Right.
They're saying like wine and beer sales shot up as soon as the pandemic hit, and they haven't really gone back down.
Right. So I think as we kind of get into today's, like, what do we do now? We got to think about what is adding to the negative parts of it too.
There we go.
And if we're turning to negative coping mechanisms, we need to watch that. And it's one of the benefits of implementing some of the positive ones that we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Right. So addictive substances in general, you saw the increase of that, but also people addicted to food and social media, so there's a lot of addicted things that now we are that are also on the rise. And so these were what our patients are coming to us with. Yeah.
And that is a challenge, I think. I mean, I myself have fallen almost to that as well, where you have all your things that you do normally, it's been flipped upside down on its head, And initially, we were like, oh, it's only going to be a couple months. I keep thinking back to when the pandemic first started, and I just deleted all the appointments I had for like 4 months. I thought, yeah, by summer, I'll be able to put my schedule back to normal, so I'll just leave it the way it is, and it's no big deal. And I think by like August, I was like, I'm just going to permanently delete all these things off my calendar, because now I'm like down. This is depressing. It's not, I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It was a train. I'm sad. Mm-hmm. And thankfully now we know it's not a train. It's really a light, so that's good. But yeah, I totally get that. It's a challenge, and I have had many patients come to me with similar, experiences where they're just getting down and turning to other things as a means of coping with the lack of socialization, the lack of like gym memberships. Amazingly enough, people are like sad they can't go to the gym, so they eat.
Right.
Which is like, what? But they do that.
I feel for those also special populations that are like the seniors, how isolated they can feel, and our kids. So I have a ninth grader who hasn't been to school because it's all online. And so, but that kind of brings me to one of the first tips that I was thinking of, and that is to start something new or start something else. Maybe you've wanted to do a hobby for a long time and just never had the extra time to do it. And so I'm going to use my daughter as an example. So she's 15, and she's an animal enthusiast, and so she talked us into getting some Holland Lop-Eared bunnies, the cutest little things with their ears, straight down, and so we started with 2 little girls, and then she decided she wanted to get a little boy. And so, and they multiply like bunnies, like rabbits. Have you ever heard that, saying? It really is. So within 3 months, we are up to 20.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
And she's selling them like a little business. And it's just something new that has been exciting and different. And so I think that is a good tip is, try to learn something new or engage in something that is different, just to change it up, make something new in your brain chemistry, so it has something positive to work towards, whatever it is. You don't have to learn a new language or take up an instrument, but it could just be as simple as getting Powered by Produce cookbook that you girls put together and trying a new recipe, something very healthy.
Which they absolutely should.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Another thing is with mental health is do things that you like to do, but do it more. So like if you like to color or paint, we downloaded a Bob Ross video one time, and we all just sat and painted canvases, and then we looked at what everyone did, and it was super fun. And we even had other people that were on FaceTime doing it along with us. And so, just doing something that you like to do it a little bit more. And the experts call this behavioral activation, where you're doing positive behaviors, and then so you're activating positive places in your brain to excite it to a place where then it combats any kind of negativity or depression.
Is it kind of just saying, like, when they say fake it till you make it, but like you do something that's positive and then the positive feelings kind of follow suit as a result of that?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Another thing I was thinking of is like, know your why when you get out of bed in the morning, or have something fun waiting when you get out of bed. For me, I do different things on different mornings. I am that Energizer bunny straight out of bed, and I woo, and so I
wish.
I work.
I wish.
I work out in the mornings.
I'm not that way. I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to stay here for at least 30 more minutes.
Okay.
Same. It makes no difference. Every morning I wake up 8 hours of good sleep, and I'm like, okay, give me an hour and I will be human again.
And I think we're born with our circadian rhythms already set.
It must be.
I've always been this way. And so on different mornings, I do different types of workouts. And so like today is Thursday, and my husband and I have this beautiful route that we like to go jog with our Labradoodle, Posey, our dog, and we'll take her, and we never do this neighborhood other than on Thursday mornings. So I look forward to that route just once a week, and then I do other things on other days. But I mean, just if you have a special breakfast waiting for you the night before that you put together, or just allow yourself to have like a spa shower, or just something as a little carrot to get you out of bed that can also help to know your why for the day, is meaning, why do I want to get out of bed? Like, what is there to get moving for? So that was just another little thought that I had.
Well, I think I kind of want to stay on this for a minute, because I've been really focused on morning rituals lately, and the importance of that in terms of setting our day straight and having certain things in the morning that are about self-care. So whether it's, like you said, having a breakfast, getting out and doing some exercise, maybe we meditate, maybe we take time to just have coffee and watch something that we enjoy in the morning. But having that combination of structure, where we're getting up for a reason, right? We have things that we have on the schedule. And then we're also doing things that set our mind straight and set our stress levels down a little bit before we even get moving through the day.
Something for you, something for self-care. And we can't let that go. No.
And I think kind of going back to the mirroring of depressive behavior, if we are working from home, or maybe we're not working right now, we don't have that inertia of our day-to-day schedule of getting out of the house, of maybe even doing our hair and doing our makeup and putting on appropriate
brushing
clothes.
our teeth.
Yeah. And that really does mirror depressive behavior. So if we are waking up in the morning and we really have like nothing, right? We just kind of roll out of bed and do whatever, or log on to our laptop and go instantly to work. That sets the tone for the day in the same way, but maybe in not a way that is going to be positive.
Right. I made it a point early on when we took our laptops home and we were seeing patients through the laptop to still get myself together like I was going to work, and at least from the torso up, right? And torso down, you're in sweats and whatever, but so it was just helpful to still put myself together. So I think like what you're saying, not just lounging around, not caring about your appearance and not caring about how you present yourself, because then I think that adds to the negative behaviors that you do.
It's so funny you say that, because like I put makeup on before I left the house today, because I'm leaving the house. I have to make my public appearance. And my husband's like, why? You're going to be there in a mask for like 10 minutes. And I was like, because I want to look nice, okay? Gosh.
And you do look nice,
Thank you.
Melanie and Anneliese.
Like, he has his work sweats. I actually wear work clothes. He just sits in sweats all day, and he's not even gonna listen to us. It's fine. I can make fun of him all I want.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like I do the same thing. Like I want to make a point to feel good and feel like I'm doing something. And like even if I'm not even gonna be on camera, I always wear one of our Positive Choice shirts every time I go to like work, quote unquote, with air quotes there. Because I work from home a lot too, and like, I don't see people at all most of the time on Mondays, but I'm still in my work shirt, and I'll go on walks around the neighborhood in my work shirt. I don't care. I have to feel like I'm doing a job.
Exactly. Good for you, Melanie.
I try my best.
It becomes a ritual, right? And rituals set the tone. It's why we as human beings have rituals like holidays and certain birthday celebrations, or certain traditions that we have with our family. We have daily rituals too, and it's important that we continue the rituals that uplift us.
Right. Because like I said, I mean, this is going to be ending, and then society opens and we go back to those behaviors anyway. And but another thought that I had is another tip that I heard from some of our, a psychiatrist, is we do worry about things. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people are socially isolated. And a lot of people don't know what the future is going to look like, and that uncertainty is out there. Don't know what it's going to be, where they're going to live. There's been forbearance, which is great, but at some point that runs out. And, so anyway, there's a lot of things to worry about. And what the psychologists or psychiatrists are saying is that give yourself a space and a time to worry. Like just a 15-minute window, 20-minute window, or whatever, but allow yourself that time and space only to go through your head what the problems are, because it actually can be very constructive. You can actually get to a place of decision making and figure out how you're going to get to that place that you need to get to. And so I think that was really good advice too, just to say, all right, now is my time. I'm going to think about these things, but then the rest of the day you don't have to think about them. You don't have to worry about them. So it kind of frees up the landscape of your brain.
I'm okay with that. I'm a chronic worrier, so she knows. And at least it's just looking at me like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so that makes sense. I'm coming from someone who is a chronic worrier, though. Like, the only thing I can think is, if you're always worrying and contemplating and thinking whether or not life is okay, how do you combat that? That's where it's tough.
Right.
Because because I'm thinking like, oh, that sounds great on paper. I don't know if I can actually just give myself 20 minutes to worry, because I'm more of a 3 or 4 hour kind of person.
Okay. So. I mean, of course, these are so easily said.
Yeah.
These types of things. But maybe just give it a go. See how that works out for you, and see if it makes a difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Homework for me.
There you go.
This.
There we go.
My podcast. Okay.
And I think that goes along with the same things that we teach about everything else, which is when we're dealing with our mind and we're dealing with our thought processes, it starts with observing what you're doing, and then the willingness and intention to limit it. So maybe we can't start out with 20 minutes of worrying if we're usually worrying all day, but we could give ourselves that 20 minutes and then spend the rest of the day noticing without judgment.
There you go.
When we find ourselves worrying, and be like, no, I can worry about that later. And doing that, a million times during the day, if that's what's required. But I think that's how we get better at teaching our brain where it can go crazy and where it needs to
set boundaries for your own brain.
There you go.
That's right.
And but I like what you said too about without judgment, just acknowledging that thought is there, and just like stick that thought on a sticky note in your mind and say, okay, later, right? And so you're not judging it. You're just noticing that, oh, interesting, here comes that thought again. And, like a third person would, well, okay, to the side right now, because you've got other things that you're thinking about. So,
yes, I think getting rid of judgment is the key to allowing yourself to change. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the same thing, if you are currently struggling with, depression, not being structured, not being healthy right now, not maintaining some of your good behaviors. I mean, the first thing to do is get rid of the judgment about it. Like, we're all here, we're all struggling with it. And, if you fell down, you go, okay, we fell down.
That's right.
What's step one that we could feel a little bit better today?
You lay there in agonizing pain and scream, "Help me." No. Help.
I think mostly people lie there in agonizing pain going, see, what are you doing with your life? How are you going to do this? What have you done? What are you going to do? Like, it's getting into that worry cycle. We're in that judgment about what we have done, about our self-worth.
Right.
And that's what keeps us paralyzed.
And don't you think a lot of judgment comes from comparison?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That you're judging yourself. Why aren't I doing like so-and-so? Why can't I be doing X, Y, and Z?
So-and-so bettered themselves during the pandemic. Why am I not better?
Right.
Yes.
Right. So I think I like what you're saying about judgment, because that can be part of that, letting go of those comparisons too, and just stepping your foot forward from where you're starting.
Mm-hmm. And maybe staying away from social media.
Yeah. Right?
I think that is the crux of all of our comparison. I mean, I don't put up the days that I can't get out of bed. I'm not like, hey, I'm here and I can't function today.
Under my covers.
No. I'm like, look at this picture of how I mastered sourdough bread baking.
Of course. You put your best foot forward always on social media, and that's what other people are seeing. And
they've even done studies on that. They say that people who spend more time on social media, you see other people's glamorized lives, which is like not the case at all, because they're only putting snippets and portions of reality. It's not the truth.
Of course.
And people get depressed because they're comparing to this small picture of someone's actual reality. It's just a piece of it.
Yeah.
And I find myself getting to that position too. I'm like, look at this person, I look so great. You get in your own head, and it sucks because it's not real. We're just seeing. I've done this myself. I made a little compilation video of a vacation I went on. It was like a horrible vacation, but I didn't want people to know that. So I put all the highlight reel up online. Be like, wow, what a great time. I'm like, It wasn't, but you don't know that. Right. Now you do. I want to tell you what vacation that one was.
Okay.
It wasn't Spain, thank you. That was not one. But I totally get that. It's the comparison to other people's snippet of reality, which is an unfair comparison.
Right, because we're all human beings.
Yeah.
We all have the same human emotions, and we're all just doing the best we can. And so I like what you guys are saying, because again, back to my teenage daughter, she has this very influential brain, and so we have actually not let her have an Instagram account yet, and those kinds of things, because I don't think it could be constructive for her brain right now. She's social. She has her friends and her besties, and so we're just kind of limiting it to that right now, so it doesn't pollute her brain.
I think that's so good.
Social media is awful.
Can be, yeah.
I mean, not all the time, but it definitely can be. It has its ups and it has its major downs.
But it's so addicting, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
But it's also going back to that observing thing, right? One thing that I've done in the past couple of years is when I'm on Instagram and I'm following an account, and the account starts making me frustrated, or I don't like what they're posting, or I'm starting to compare myself, I unfollow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can cultivate your social media to be things that validate you, that make you feel good. And I think, while we're kind of going through this process with social media, with everything else in your life, examine the things that make you feel good, and examine the things that are adding stress. And if they are unnecessary, like following a stranger on Instagram,
right, that
is aggravating you, get rid of it.
There you go. So wise.
It's the ultimate power.
Unfollow.
Click it off.
Oh, well, it's about that time.
Okay. So, Kari, any last Any last tips for like being at home, keeping your healthy habits going?
Well, funny you say that. I think what our brains also need is some kind of trigger to remind us to do some good behaviors. And so, whether it's getting out your cell phone and putting it on every hour just to remind yourself to get up. If you have a work desk area and you're sitting most of the day. I also want to endorse our Anneliese and our Melanie, positivechoice.org, because you guys do some awesome workaux.
And Kari's on there too. Don't
well,
let her fool you.
I'm very little on there, but you girls, most of my classes will either be doing an Anneliese video or a Melanie video today, and so just free and what you can get from Positive Choice. That's on positivechoice.org, but there's also our YouTube channel, which is Positive Choice Integrated Wellness Center. On YouTube, and so you can download those videos. So we're coming to you at home. We can help you many different ways. We also have classes here to help you with nutrition. A lot of my patients are also struggling with the fact that the refrigerator is just right there, a couple steps away, and so organizing the environment so it's not so conducive for getting caught up with overeating, highly desired foods with a lot of sugar and then gaining weight. And so I would just want to have everybody think about where they are right now in their space and time, how they're feeling mentally, how they're feeling physically. And if those are off, then reach out.
Yeah.
If there's something that you feel you need support with, we can't see in-person people, but we can see people, and I think that's what's awesome. We as practitioners can still meet with our people and be able to walk them down to a better path, a better journey than maybe what they're on.
Absolutely, and providing that accountability. I enjoy it as an instructor during the pandemic, and I have a lot of my class members, just having a group that you're working with, that everyone's doing the same thing. It's a good reminder, a good check-in every week, and we offer that. And if you are a Kaiser member, Healthy Balance, 16 weeks, it's free.
Mm-hmm. And if you're not a member, you can still do it for $160, as at least of right now. We don't know, probably forever, but we'll see. I can't quote that forever indefinitely, just according to the date on this podcast.
Right.
Exactly. So such good tips, Kari, and I think such a well-needed talk about where we're at.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for coming. You'll have to come back.
I would love to.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you again. And until next time, everybody.
Bye.